Starting recording. As soon as it's timed down, hopefully it's... Alright, what's up with it, everyone? The Alchemist here with two of my great friends, Dr. Mulder and J.S. Garrett. How are you both doing in this evening?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Great, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been getting a few questions sent to me just regarding some of the machines, some of the things you can do with and without Magick, and so I just kind of wanted to cover a few bases along that lines to just kind of dive in and give the viewer just the answers that they've been seeking. So I wanted to start off with you, Dr. Mulder, and kind of the synchronicities and the coincidences that seem to happen when you just plug your input into the machine and let it go for a few weeks, and kind of just those experiences and how you know when your wish has been fulfilled.
Well, I tell you, let's talk about one that just recently happened. I set a machine about a month ago. I was looking for ways to work on a computer algorithm for crypto trading, and it's, to make it simple, basically where you have where it's automated. Wherever a coin reaches to a certain peak, you sell it off, drop back down, then you buy it back, wash, rinse, repeat. As you do this, you start making your money by creating additional coins by doing this thing. It's called scalping in the trade world. So anyway, I set a machine. I wanted to see what I could do there, and I was working on with an engineer to design an algorithm to do trading, and it really wasn't going that great because he was a hardware guy. He really wasn't a software guy. He wasn't a coder, and I was thinking, oh shit, well, eventually we'll get this figured out. Well, I get this phone call from this guy, and he had a PhD, and I really didn't know what he had a PhD in or what have you, but anyway, we started talking, and he was interested in radionics, and I started telling him about radionics, and one thing led to another. And I found out he was putting together a Bigfoot conference up in Burnsville, North Carolina. I'm giving him a plug. I think it's going to be on the 17th. And that's what he does. He puts together conferences, for paranormal stuff and that kind of thing. And I said, okay, all right. And as the conversation went on, I asked him, I said, so what do you have a PhD in? He said, oh, I'm a professor of computer science. I said, you're a professor of computer science. You're able to code, right? And he said, hell yeah, I'm a computer scientist. This is what we do, right? And I said, okay. And I said, oh, I'm trying to do a trading algorithm, and I need some help in designing this trading algorithm. He said, hell, I've already done that. I've already designed them. I designed trading algorithms. So here's what happens. Just a matter of turning a few knobs. I create what I thought was a difficulty, right? With the original engineer, it's getting kind of slow. Then out of the blue, I get a call from a guy about radionics, and it turns out he's a computer scientist. He actually taught it for 20 years in a big college in North Carolina, and so it's like it dropped in my lap. And on top of that, I became really good friends with him. And I'm going to be doing a conference up there myself, over in Burnsville, North Carolina, which is about 30 miles north of Asheville. I'm going to be there on the 17th for, I don't know, apparently they're going to be asking Q&A and that kind of a thing. But getting back to your original question, that's just an example. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, I'm thinking, it's not, I'm just spinning my wheels here. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, literally out of the blue, I get a call from this guy concerning radionics, want to find out about it, and it turns out he has the exact skill set that I was looking for. The odds of this happening is beyond. I don't know if you can calculate. I think you have a better chance of lightning on the moon.
Well, what's fascinating about all that, and do you use anything for the input, or is it just you having that intent and then just plugging that in?
Yeah, all I did was, matter of fact, this is the machine. I got it right here. This is one of my old ones. You can tell it's an old one because I'm going to unplug it here so you can get a better look at it. Okay, this is the very machine. There's nothing on it.
Oh, antenna.
Yeah,
there's an antenna on that.
Yeah. I built this one, hell, about 8-9 years ago. It's one of my first electronic machines right here. One of the first models. It doesn't even have numbers on it. You can tell it's an older model. And so, but yeah, this is the very machine right here that I use for that to do this. And again, there's nothing on the plates. All I did was I had my intention. I was focused on what it was I wanted to do, and I just turned the dials. Now, this works for this particular situation for me. This is something fairly straightforward. Okay, but all of a sudden I get all these pieces fall into place where I get this guy out of the blue from nowhere, and it's exactly what I was looking for. And this machine, I tuned it to create a computer algorithm, and then I get all this talent just drops in my lap. On top of that, he wants to sell machines to the cryptid community to promote Bitcoin activity. And so, I mean, this is kind of weird. But, the thing about it is, set a machine, let it do its thing. I'm a little discouraged there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm not really seeing, I got things in play, but it really wasn't working out like I thought it would. And then I was that fast, one phone call, the guy I'm looking for, out of all the people in the world, drops in my lap.
And that's, so what I do, like today I had a video shoot. And so first thing I did in the morning was describe a machine. I don't write anything down. I don't even necessarily see anything in my mind, but the feeling I want to have about the whole entire shoot and the progress, and just tune that up and turn on the machine. And whether it's like for the filming we did or the past couple of days and I've been going to work, everything has been, it's been an easy flow, like it's an amazing day. Everything works out easy. Everything that needs to happen, I got off 2 hours earlier. I'm feeling good. Everything's going great. And it's just, for me, I feel like it helps get rid of all the bugs that can happen in the day, and it just helps the day or whatever that intent you want to be more efficient, and to come to you. So that is awesome. Just to have a clear slate and be able to, pulsate that reality into existence.
Yeah, and again, what I look at when you're turning dials, I look at it as basically an energy signature. Each one of these potentiometers, as you turn it, it will have a different value to it, a resistance value. It's a variable resistor. Okay, you go one way, the light's off. You go another way, the light's is fully bright. You follow what I'm saying? It's like a different switch in a house. Okay, as you turn it, okay. It has different values, and because of that, you're creating an energy signature with the device. And I went through all this stuff here. It's the only thing I can come up with that made any sense. And that energy signature corresponds with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. In each individual situation, and it has different variables. It could be like individual people. It could be, the time that you do this. So many different variables will have different signatures. They'll be close, but they'll have different signatures because of different things that have taken place in reality before you tune that machine. And so, but again, that's what I've come up with here. And it's just really fantastic. It really is the kind of things that are happening with this stuff. And again, this was an experiment. I didn't come in like it was a life and death situation. I was cool, calm, and collective. All I was doing was just thinking, what do I want? What is my wish? What is I want to accomplish? Tune the dials, focusing on the end results of a very good trading algorithm, and I wasn't interested in the, in the journey. I was interested in the destination.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
And that, I mean, it brings me to my next question about, to you, JS, about the master key. Because when I've used it with that production, and as I use it, it would be more of the assistance of the watchers using the master key and, cutting out any dead weight that doesn't need to be inside the production, or bring about, meeting the right people so we get these props, or now all of a sudden we're talking with this agency, all these other things. And for me, it's been priceless. But I've been asked a couple times, what can they use the master key for with their Radionics box? And who else to ask than the JS Garrett?
That's the man.
Oh no, that's cool. That's cool, man. That's a good question. And really the question is like, what can't you use it for? Like, so I mean, the master key does a lot of different things. I mean, that's why it's called the master keys, because it has multiple functions, and it's really the key to open every lock in, your spiritual practice or within yourself. So I mean, what I would do personally, something you touched on there was like setting a box, in the morning, or like okay, so in just about every esoteric practice, they'll tell you to meditate when you first wake up for like anywhere from 10 to 24 minutes, ideally 1 minute for every hour of the day. So 24 minutes is ideal. Most people, if they do it at all, they're going to do it for 10. All right. And you're supposed to sit there as soon as you wake up, while you're still in between sleep and awake in that altered state of consciousness. You're supposed to immediately wake up and sit there and meditate and visualize yourself having this great fucking day and everything going right for you and catching lucky breaks, making new friends. It's like visualize yourself having the best day ever every morning of your life. Now, we're inevitably going to have bad days because bad things beyond our control can happen. Your best friend can get hit by a truck, whatever. That's going to equal a bad day, whether you did your meditation or not that morning. But that is a way to consistently take control over your life and seriously work towards having the best day every day. All right. Well, let's say that, you started incorporating a radionics box into that. If you have, a master key amulet or the master key printed out on a piece of paper, a small piece of paper that can go on your input plate every single day, every morning, you could wake up, flip the switch, turn the dials back to 0, flip it back on, stare at that master key and do the same thing. Visualize yourself having the perfect day, everything going right for you. If you need help, if you need protection, if you need anything from these spirits, it will just automatically come to you in the time that you need it. And then do that little visualization every morning, staring at the master key, and then tune your dials and then go have the best day of your fucking life every day. So, I mean, like, really anything, I've used the master key in everything from protection magic to love magic to baneful magic to necromancy, like you name it. Pretty much anything that you're doing, not only will that amplify the power of what you're doing, but it's a way to concentrate the power of the operator, of the sorcerer. It's a way to concentrate your personal power and direct it. Okay, and that's why it's ideal to use with radionics, because whatever operation we're doing, we can focus our intent into that master key and then tune the dials and like, I mean, there's really nothing you can't do with it. It stands for strength, knowledge, power, protection, attack in every direction. The ultimate protection seal. It's the gateway to the realm of the Watchers. Pretty much, you don't have to know the names. You can just say, I'm asking for the Watcher that is best suited to help me accomplish this task, to come through this master key in the name of Shumyaza and help me do that. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's really the closest thing to like a universal sigil or a universal tool, magical tool that I know of. So there's really nothing you can't do with it.
Now, when you're putting, let's say, the amulet on the machine, would you put it on the input and then have that attune to the best day of your life? Or would you have like the sun on the input and attune it so then that energy is going into the amulet? Or would either way work?
All right. So if you're wanting to charge the amulet, if you're wanting to feed it power, then you put it on the output plate. All right. But if you're trying to cause an effect, trying to influence, like say, I want to have the best day ever. All right. You're going to take that amulet off and put it on the input, the amulet that you've consecrated with your blood, that is you. And you're going to stare into that amulet and you're pushing your intent through that master key into the input, and then the output. You don't have to put anything on it. You can put your picture on it. That's what I'd recommend, putting your own picture. But you are feeding your intent through that master key into the radionics box into you to have the best fucking day I can possibly have. After you tune the dials, you take that amulet off and put it on. And then you are actively, constantly transmitting your will, your power, your control towards every situation that you face that day. and you're using the power of that amulet to concentrate your own power to manifest that outward, and you're also using a fucking radionics box to amplify the shit out of that power. All right, so I mean, like, dude, you know, I really need to take my own advice more often. These are things that I do, and especially before an important day, I do these things. But like, I think after listening to myself say all that shit that, you know, I've thought about and constructed, like after I say it out loud, I'm like, man, why the fuck aren't I putting my amulet on the box every morning when I wake up and doing this every day? I don't do it every day. Do it on important days, but I think I should do it every day.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning earlier, I've been recently using my Genesis 2.0. It's kind of like my Pyramid of Saint Germain or whatever the hell, dude. Like, it's like every day I like to use that for my daily, you know. And all my other machines, they could have a week, they can have infinite time till whenever or whenever the spirit says it's fucking done. But just having a box that's just for your daily, you know, just to cut out any of those bugs. But what you said about the Master Key on top, because I'll agree with you. The Master Key is by far one of my favorite seals I've ever used. You know, and as well as like evolving as a person and a practitioner, I think that it's a part of the process of evolution. I feel like if you're going to go down the current, you should definitely open that up, whether it's protection, whether it's helping you learn how to cast magic better, whatever the hell it is, that thing can. I mean, shit, I needed someone to call me. And so I just opened up the sigil, put a little bit of blood on it, burned it, and I got a call right after I got done burning it. And that was like right when I just started using it all those years back. And, you know, only miracles can happen. But, you know, when it comes to that energy, you know, and feeding that into whatever it is for the operation, this new vampire box, the 2.0, you know, I've been using the regular vampire box. I have it down here. And I would feed myself energy from time to time, but, you know, I wouldn't be kept up at night. You know, it's just like a streamline of energy. It's like a low voltage going into you. But having 3 of the vampire boxes and each one having a specific spirit being fed, you know, whatever that is, that spirit I want into my life, to have a constant feeding. And then on this deluxe, you know what? I don't know why I don't just freaking show everyone.
For those that haven't seen it.
Here is the Vampire Box 2.0. It's got its input slot right here.
Do you have pictures taped to it?
Yeah, these are sigils of the spirit.
Are they like, is that fucking electrical tape?
It might be.
You got to the box. You must have a cat.
No. I just
my cat will jump up on the table and knock my pictures off my Radionics box.
Well, there's so many boxes I have inside of this temple that when I open this door, because I got 2 altars, when I open this door, sometimes the stuff blows everywhere, and then I sleep. When I come from the other room and I sleep with a fan in the other room, I have boxes in there, and if you don't tape it down, sigils fly out everywhere. So I just always feel like I gotta have my tape and I gotta have my alcohol, my alcoholic swabs, you know, with a sock or something to make sure I always clean it off. Just to keep, because the one thing about this box, in our last interview that I'm gonna have coming up, I was just updating my site, but if you don't pull your name out of the box, even if the box isn't on, you still do feel that energy current coming through you. But like this, I have to turn it off 4 hours, 3 hours can work if I'm really tired, but 4 hours before I go to bed, because otherwise I won't go to bed. And it works really well for, you know, doing lots of rites one night, or I haven't gotten much sleep the past week, and I've had to do shoots, I've had to do my other job, and X, Y, and Z. And I have this combination of these different spirits that help me out, like with my energy, my health, X, Y, and Z. And then it just pumps through me, and it's like I'm on 200 milligrams of caffeine constantly. I'm just constantly up. And I haven't found the only detriment, like I said, is not being aware that I left the house for the night and the machine's still on, so I'm wired up all night. And so getting your sleep cycle all the way there, because then now it can be a circular, so you just have to be wary of that and pulling yourself out the box. But just the potency of this box, Doc, it's off the charts, man. It really is off the charts.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Like I said, that was part of JS's idea of actually jacking the vampire machine, take it to the next level. So I mean, my hat's off to JS.
Thank you, JS.
Yeah, thank you, JS.
It really wasn't any kind of grand revelation. I was just like, how can we make a super vampire box? I'm like, the only thing I can think of is having multiple input plates wired to a single output plate.
It worked.
So yeah, you were able to make that, and it definitely works. It's I'll say it's 3-4 times more powerful than the original. And something I'll do with my amulets, like I'll turn it on for myself in the morning, and like you said, you got to turn it off like 4 hours before you go to bed, or you won't sleep good. You'll squirm all night, And so I'll take like my amulet, like my master key pendant, and I'll just swap my picture out for that and charge my amulet up, at night, And I don't know. It's like we do this shit so much that we almost get like used to it, accustomed to it, to having that extra energy, having that extra push.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And like I'll notice that if I do it every day, then it's what I get used to. So then if I go a day without doing it, I notice the absence of that. But and so sometimes I'll go like 1 to 2 weeks without putting myself on a vampire box. And just kind of like go back to normal. It's kind of like getting a caffeine high every day, and you don't drink coffee for 2 weeks, and then when you drink that next cup of coffee, or whatever you're talking about. When you do that, you really see and notice the difference, like what a dramatic difference it makes on you in a day when you go a little while without doing it, and then put it on there again. It's it's like not drinking coffee for a while and then getting that caffeine high like you've never had it before. Man, I feel like I have to constantly remind myself of the basics and how potent this stuff is, because I'll get like so into it, so far out there that I'll eventually, like, I guess I start reaching like for crazy stuff, and then like I'll start to doubt things that I'm doing. Like, the volcano didn't explode today. Like like you start questioning everything. But like, nah, man. Like if that's the deal, like you really need to question your sanity and what it is you're trying to make happen.
and being very real about how long things can take to manifest. I don't care how many boxes you could have on for one specific thing, how many spells you do for a specific thing. The universe unfolds. Obviously, our intent can amplify it in X, Y, and Z, but we don't know exactly the second which things are going to manifest. And that's something for myself when it comes to these radionics boxes. It's not till I finally kind of just allow, and then I have that reflection, like I always talk about, that eagle vision of where things are connected, and it's like, wow, I was actually able to learn so much. Like this path working with King Beleth. I've had a constant energy source going into him, enriching our relationship when I could learn from him. And I was wanting X, Y, and Z from him, and I'm not getting them. Why is this not happening? It's not till 6 months, 8 months down the road, I'm like, I see all I was learning and how that this is me becoming a greater king, not having this, having that, but enriched as a person. But, you also have to just be realistic. You can't just hope, I'm going to turn on all 9 of my boxes and all my problems are going to be gone. Things do take time to manifest.
Well, everything that you do magically has to play out physically on the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So each operation is going to be slightly different, because when you're trying to make something happen, there is a way that it has to physically manifest. All right. The dominoes have to trip and fall in order to bring about that desired outcome. And so the more difficult the outcome you're asking for is, typically the longer it's going to take to manifest, because like Like, you're, like I said, you're tipping a damo. You're evoking that spirit or using that box to make this happen in the simplest, most effective way possible. There's still a way that it has to play out. So the more difficult the operation is, the more time it's going to take. But you definitely need to put in the physical effort too. Like if you're trying to raise at work and you do a ritual or set a box to help you get that promotion or raise, like you still have to like be a good employee and maintain that in order to get that raise. You can't just start like not showing up for work and, oh well, because I set a box, I'm going to get what I want anyway. No, it doesn't work like that. Like these are tools to help you manifest whatever it is you're working for, and to amplify and focus and push your will into reality for it to manifest. Like we're hacking into the eye, whether we're doing old school witchcraft or black magic, or whether we're tuning some dials and leaving it running. We are hacking into reality. We are hijacking reality. We're hacking into the computer, the holographic projector that is projecting this reality and everything in it. We're inserting our code with our desire and our will into that projector so that it can run through the machine and then project and manifest into reality. All right. And anything that we can do physically to help that along, the faster it's going to be. And you definitely don't want to work against yourself and become your own obstacle, because we ask for all obstacles that stand in our way to be obliterated. And if you become your own obstacle, then you're going to get smacked on the head.
Definitely. That is an absolute. If you don't put in the work, and then especially or if you're working with spirits, you don't put in the work and then you complain to them about that not manifesting, it's like, that's disrespect, and then you're going to get a backhand, and you're going to learn your lesson.
That falls into the category of stupidity.
Yeah.
I would say I have at least an 80+ hit rate on stuff I do. 80+. 80% of what I do or more, I usually get a hit rate on. And I examine the ones that didn't really take. But before I get into that, you're absolutely correct. You have to do something. You actually have to do something in order for things to manifest. Like, for example, getting back to the computer scientist guy, if I hadn't answered that phone call and start telling this guy, which I had no clue who the hell he was, start telling this guy about everything he ever wanted to know about radionics and what have you, and then start talking about Bigfoot, and I told him my experiences with some of the people that are involved in that kind of thing, and how I kind of question them more than I do Bigfoot. And so he just he understood where I was coming from with that. And so, but because I put the time in, because I made the effort, I come to find out, son of a bitch, this guy's a damn computer scientist. He's exactly what I'm looking for. I couldn't ask for better qualifications. But the point of it is, I had to make those I had to exert some kind of energy in the form of knowledge to tell this guy, answer all this guy's questions and what have you, in order to make all this become a reality.
You create the opportunity with the box. Exactly.
And that's what we were talking about. I was on a show with him. It's called a Scary Cast. I want to plug this guy because he's a good dude. And it's Scary Cast off of Facebook. But anyway, that's what you say. So this thing is an opportunity machine. It opens up doors for you. It's up to you to walk across that door or walk across that threshold through that door. Okay, but it will open the doors for you. And we were talking about, the mental attitude you have to have with this. Some people feel like, they feel excited. That, it works best for them when they're excited, and they can visualize what it is, their end results of what they're trying to accomplish when they turn the dials on the machines, and they get great results. Some people, they find that if they're not really pragmatic, but try just to focus, just be relaxed and calm, and just kind of have like that confident feeling that this thing's going to happen, that it's already a done deal. It's just a matter of being there at the right place at the right time when they turn the dials, for that particular objective. And so, again, it requires, I would say, a good positive attitude helps. It really does. I would not use these machines if you're like, woe is me and kind of sad, or if you're just like in a bad mood, if I drift, I think a lot of it is mental attitude, because these things are extensions of your consciousness. Okay. And so if you have like a good focus, a good attitude about something, you can visualize the thing's going to happen, then great. Now, getting back to that 80% thing I was telling you about, I was wondering, why is it 20% of these things do not seem to manifest, or manifest in a timely manner? And then in hindsight, when you look at the big picture, you realize all the things that had to take place in order for this to manifest. And those things that, that 20%, I think a lot of it is, it's going to happen. It's just not going to happen on my time frame. There's a lot of things that have to happen in this reality for it. It's basically like a tumbler, like a lock on a safe. You have to turn it one way and you hit a tumbler, turn it another way, hit another tumbler. All these things have to line up, okay? And that is where, that is where the sticky wicket is. Also, because I've worked on things here that were, for most people, they would never happen. If they do happen, we're talking decades. Decades of just all kinds of minutia, all right, and get it done like in a matter of a few years. Okay, that was a really important client to me, and it took a matter of almost 2 years from start to finish for them to get their wish, which was concerning a legal matter. But again, the fact that it even happened in reality was that was beyond odds. Okay, that fast. Okay, but again, as I think JS was hinting to earlier, things just happen. It takes time. You put you've done the work. And like I said, you answer the phone calls and what have you. And I think I've joked around with you before. I could turn a machine and wish for 1,000,000 wishing machines, right, to appear in my front yard. I can turn the dial and do all that. But the only way it's ever going to happen is if either I build them or I start a factory and they shoot out 1,000,000 of these machines, and that's the only way it's ever going to happen, right? In this reality, it's not like they're just going to automatically materialize out of the ether. It's a possibility. Sure, it's a possibility that could happen, but is the likelihood of that happening not so good?
Well, I think we're saying, like, we need to rename these from wish machines to opportunity machines.
Right, exactly.
Like these, you're trying to accomplish something and you use one of these boxes, it's going to create the perfect opportunity for you to do it. You just have to capitalize on that opportunity. And I'll tell you what, like the times they've worked best for me, like when I performed miracles, it was in 2 different states of mind. One was the power of fuck it. I don't give a shit if it works or not. I'm just going to see if it works. No pressure at all on the outcome. I'm going to see if I can make it snow here on a specific day. And I just tune the dials and I'm kind of laughing to myself at how funny it'll be if it works out. And I put my intention and I walk away not caring if it works or not. I forget about the operation as soon as I do it. It's the power of fuck it. All right. Like, oh, well, I'm going to see if I can do it. It'll be funny if I do, but if not, it's skin off my ass. The other time that they've worked best for me is out of desperation and helplessness. All right. Like times when I was desperate for something and I felt helpless to achieve it. And so it was like a last ditch effort. I'm going to tune this box and ask it for a miracle. And it's so outrageous that I don't expect it to happen. And there's no pressure if it doesn't. It's no shame on me if it doesn't work. All right. But if it's possible, then I'm asking for it to. All right. And then I walk away and throw my hands up. And again, I forget that I set the operation. I completely gave it over to the holographic projector, to the universe. I made my request. I stated my intention. I set this box, and now it's up to whatever happens to happen. No pressure either way. If it goes my way, I'll appreciate it. If it doesn't go my way, then hey, it was impossible to begin with. And that's when I've performed fucking miracles.
Yeah, when I've been doing rituals with different entities, and whether it was a few months and the thing didn't manifest that I wanted, that's the spirit. Why hasn't this manifested yet? And if it's not due to me being an impatient individual, then it always comes down to what else have you learned because you've been pulled to do this operation in the first place. And this past few months, while this has been on, what has been the reality and what has been all the lessons learned. And then I realized by absorbing that, doing the operation itself, the outcome wasn't really what I wanted, because subconsciously I needed to grow in different facets. And I find these machines do help you be able to grow, not only to be able to get the wish of your desire, but to be able to just be a better individual all around in all facets, you know? So it's really good at chiseling the individual. And, you know, the hypnosis, right, that you perform, JS, my friends have asked, because some of them they have their own addictions about things. And when you're like right now, just talking about putting intent and letting it go, when you use a psionic helmet, like I just kind of wanted to hear kind of some clients or stuff that you've been able to help out, or just kind of, you know, different results you've been able to do by you actually having the psionic helmet. And I don't know what you do, or, you know, I can't give away all the secret sauce, you know, but
No,
just kind of your experiments.
Okay, nothing I do is a secret, man. I put it all out there, and that's why you've got so many professional magicians selling my rituals on their websites right now, because I tell everybody how I do it, and I want people to do it for themselves. You know, that's the idea. You can pay me to do it. I'll take my, you know, undivided attention and my precious time, and I'll spend an entire day and a night performing a ritual for you to get you exactly what you want. Or, you know, you can watch one of my YouTube videos or one of my video courses, and if you can't afford the course, I'll give it to you for free. If you're willing to fucking chop the head off a chicken and do the ritual yourself, then hey, man, I'm glad I could tell you how to do it. But what I do with the hypnosis, now there's two things I offer. You know, I've got, like, you know, the radionic hypnosis, the radionic mind control. That's a separate thing from the distance hypnosis that I do. The distance hypnosis, I don't use radionics for that. I use the same type of technique that I use for the rite of deification. Only I'll print out a person's picture, and I'll pull that person out of body into the triangle with me. And then I will write my statements of command across their forehead and their face. And then I will prick my finger and trace over those statements with blood. And I'll say, you know, by the power of Shemyaza, or whatever spirit I'm working with on that person's behalf, I command you to do these things. And then I'll put that picture in the fire and let absorb that blood soaked into those letters that I've written, that I've spelled across their face. You know, because when you write, you are casting a spell. That's why it's called spelling, you know. So that's the old school distance hypnosis. With the radionic hypnosis, what I'll do is I will take a picture of the person that's hired me to perform the ritual on them, the hypnotic ritual. Like, say they're trying to, you know, stop shooting heroin or quit some horrible addiction, you know, something like that. What they're hiring me to do is incept what they really want themselves to do into their subconscious, reinforced a little bit with some magic, in order to force them to do these things for their own benefit. You know, so what I'll do is I'll put their picture on the output plate, and then if I have a sigil of a spirit I'm working with, like say, you know, I'm trying to free their mind from fears. Let's say they're agoraphobic. Like, I had a client that was agoraphobic not long ago. And so, like, we work with Ophal because he can free the mind from fears and restore the person to full spiritual health. Put their picture, the person's picture, on the output plate. I'll put Ophal's sigil on the input plate. All right. After I've tuned the dials, then I will set black candle onto Ophal's sigil. I'll light the candle, and I'll sit there, tune my helmet, put my radionic helmet on, and I'll stare into the candle flame. Black candle pulls energy. So I'm feeding my intent through that flame. It's being pulled down into the sigil of Ophal, and that energy is converted into his energy, fueled with his power and essence and my intent, and then pumped into the person. and I will sit there and I will speak my statements of commands. I will speak my commands into that candle flame. And then lastly, I will write those commands onto little strips of paper and put a drop of blood on each one and anoint it. I command you to stop drinking. I command you to stop jerking off to porn. I command you to no longer fear leaving your house. Whatever it is I'm trying to help that person reprogram as far as their behavior, I'll anoint it with that blood. And if, there's an elixir or anything, depending on what I'm doing, that's appropriate, I'll put that on there too and burn the strips of paper one at a time over that candle, feeding that into the box. Once I'm done, I say, so it is done. I take the helmet off, I set it down, I leave everything turned on and switched on and forget that I ever did it, and that's like so freaking effective. It's scary. Like, I do it to help people, like I do it for people that hire me to do it to them for specific reasons to help them. But you could get really nasty with that, man. You're incepting thoughts directly into someone's subconscious that they wake up that morning actively thinking. So if you were to say something negative, like, I want to jump off a bridge, they would wake up saying, I want to jump off a bridge, and I don't know why, but I really, really want to. Like, it's some powerful shit. So use it with wisdom.
Mm-hmm. That helmet is something else, even if it's just like that 10 minutes, 24 minutes of meditation in the morning. I don't really get to do this that often, but I do like to, burn some incense, put that on, just lay in darkness, just sitting there, whatever, and tune it just to get my mind. So it's like, that calm meditation level. And it's like, I can get there and, about a minute just to tune it, sit there, versus 20 minutes of maybe doing a certain chant or om, just because it brings that frequency quicker to me. And I feel like I'm surrounded in it, and that helmet just amplifies everything. So,
yeah. You can use that. One other cool experiment I've done is to put a picture of a person on the input plate and then plug the helmet into the output jack, tune the dials, tune the helmet, and then sit there and meditate on that person. That's a way like that you can better understand a person that you're trying to relate with, whether it's a wife or a child or husband, whatever. Like if you're trying to figure someone out, trying to figure out how to better relate to your child, or how to understand, why your spouse isn't happy with you, things like that. Like, how you can put the sigil of the spirit on there and pump the energy and essence of that spirit into yourself through that headset and commune with that spirit. You can do that same thing with a person that you're trying to relate to. And I don't know, it might be something that you try to do for enemies in order to better understand them,
Well, it's kind of like when you're in the room and, as you build your psychic senses, you almost have that telepathic link that you can just kind of feel. Some people, they have flashes of what the person's thinking, or you can just feel how they feel towards you. But to be able to do that at a distance and to an understanding, you could definitely probably diffuse a lot of issues in your next encounter with this individual just by that understanding. Or maybe you'll find out what that Chiquita's really into, and you can show up and have them write roses, that she's looking for. Yeah. Like that sounds really diverse, man.
You have to understand what you're up against. If we don't live in this day and age now, but if you were, someone like Genghis Khan or Vlad the Impaler back in the day, and you had a radionics machine, and you could put the general of the opposing army on there and sit there and not only siphon his energy from him and his power and his strength from him, but you could also start to understand how his mind works. Know thy enemy, dude. Like, knowing thy enemy is number one when it comes to defeating thy enemy. So, I mean, it's like a way you really get to know people.
Yeah, they probably are doing that in our government. We don't even know it,
Yeah.
They have shit. They have shit we've never even heard of that makes radionics look like, like we're still in diapers compared to the big bad government. Like,
yeah,
probably have AI. They probably have artificial intelligence radionics super machines that can read our minds from a billion miles away and start to reprogram us to consume, obey, consume, obey. You know, you got to have like 10 radionics boxes yourself just to cancel that shit out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is a warfare, man. The black screen warfare. Either be ready or be opposed and become a slave.
Yeah. Yeah, Charles Casamana wrote an entire chapter about using a helmet along with a box to mess with world leaders. I think it was Saddam Hussein. He wanted to see him getting into a war with a neighbor over something or whatever, just to start a bunch of shit. And he said he went into Saddam Hussein's mind and got him on war mode, where he thought, oh, I can kick these people's ass. You know, I'm the big, you know, I'm the top turd in the shit pile. You know, and so anyway. So immediately, like within a couple of weeks, he declares war on a neighboring country, that kind of thing. But also, I will say this: generals, military generals, okay, psychologically, they're pretty straight focused. They don't screw around. They're strategists, right? They're, you know, I would say a majority of them have a, you know, they have a strategy type mind about them. They're very focused. Well, I did this exercise. It was just an experiment. I didn't know what would happen. I really didn't know what the outcome would be. I had a friend of mine who was a major and wanted to get a promotion to lieutenant colonel. All right. All the information I had to work with were the names of these generals and the location that they were at. That's all I had to work with. And I've been to that location, so I was familiar with it. Yeah, I could visualize it in my head and all that stuff. And so these names, for each one of them, all I did, I took the helmet, wear the helmet, tune it for, you know, for this to go toward the target. And I started projecting not so much, hey, this is a great candidate to, you know, get them in there. They deserve a chance. Yeah. I didn't take that approach. What I was thinking was, they will make your life so much easier if you promote them. They will do so much for you and take a lot, you know. I'm just trying to give the benefits that it would be to the general, not to the lieutenant. This person wants to be lieutenant colonel. I'm looking, you know, I'm trying to make it look like
influencing the person who makes the decision.
Exactly. This would be a great idea. Less BS for me, and I can put it on this lowly lieutenant colonel, right? And so, and that's how I presented it to them. And within 2 weeks, they got promoted. So I don't know if I had anything to do with that. I don't know if they, you know, they were said it was so questionable in their minds as to the chance of actually getting that promotion. Apparently, there was so many. There's only so many people that were going to make that grade, or I don't know how the military works. I'm assuming, and so all I did was try to project and increase their odds of getting that promotion. And like I said, within 2 weeks, apparently the people that she needed to have sign off for, you know, for this, you know, lieutenant colonel, they all willingly signed the documents, and this person got their, you know,
if you did the operation for a specific thing and it happened and it worked, you know, I mean, there's a chance it could have worked out that way if you hadn't have, but things can just as easily go wrong as they can go right. And you at least help facilitate that.
That's the whole idea, and that's the whole point. I think, isn't that what Magick's all about? You help something,
just getting what you want.
Yeah.
If I get what I want after I do a spell, I don't sit back and say, well, was it because of the spell, or, you know, would that have happened anyway? You know, like, do I really give a fuck if I got what I wanted? And, you know, after, you know, you can maybe rationalize it the first 10, 20, 30 times, but after a few hundred times of doing a ritual for a specific thing and then having it go your way, statistically, shit should have gone wrong at some point there. No, it's because you're doing ritual magic to force your will and intent. You know, and one thing I know for sure is that if I don't do the ritual and it doesn't work out for me, then I can't blame myself, you know, for not doing the first. Or I mean, I should blame myself for not doing the ritual and taking control over the situation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when it's come with that master key once again. Not once, not twice, 3 times I've gotten back my job, where the first time they said that it's impossible. I walk around my job and they literally call me a legend. and I just say black magic. I just tell them what it is, and then they laugh and say, "All right," you know. And everything's been amazing ever since.
The guy with 9 lives.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, for a while they started calling me 9 Lives, and I went to the office, and even the managers now laugh about it. And I looked at them, I said, "You guys know I'm the Hydra. You can cut off my head, but another one's just gonna grow back." And they all just started laughing, and it's like, you know, when it comes down to it, when we put in the work, no matter what it is, and whether you get it or not, obviously we all want to get it, but it is about pulling that intent and that desire out of you, so then you can be able to let it either grow, dissipate, whatever it may be, but you can go forward and not say, "I wish I would have done it like this." Oh, what happens if there's no more what ifs? It's I did, and this is what happened, you know, and you can go forward. But thank you both so much. I don't want to spend any more time. You know, we are almost to an hour, and we try to keep these under an hour. So I just want to say thank you both so much for coming on here.
Oh yeah, this is one of our best shows. I mean, we really got into some serious topics and actual how-to step by step. I mean, this has been a great show. Thanks.
Yeah. I want to touch on one other thing. Ellen and I did a video talking about this the other night, but that's a totally separate video. Like Doc, his black web, his armor, black web of armor ritual.
Black web armor. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Juggernaut ritual. Has he done those for you yet?
I did the black web armor ritual for him.
Okay. Like I was gonna say, those worked very, very well for me, and I had no expectations for it, anything. I was like, all right, you know, I trust this guy enough not to fuck me up. So, you know, he thinks he's come up with something cool that might help me. I'm pretty sure he's not going to hurt me. So yeah, what's the harm? I'll let him try it. I don't let many people do magic on me. Like seriously. I get offers every day. Hey, I want to try this spell on you. I'm like, no, I don't fucking think so. Who the fuck are you? No, absolutely not. But I was like, okay, this guy, I've known him for a while. I know he's serious about his practice. I'm gonna let him do this. And I was pleasantly surprised. Like the amount of physical energy that I got from it, and it was like it made me more motivated. It made me more like focused and set. Like I was like a kid with ADHD. There's all over the place. Like that really focused me to what I need to be working on, and I feel like a juggernaut smashing through the obstacles, dude. So.
Hell yeah, man, dude. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll definitely talk to you about that a little bit more off the air, Dr. Mulder, about if it's something you'd be interested in. But yeah, if anyone is interested, for sure, check out my website. All my updated spells that I'm going to be offering will be up in the next 24 hours. So by the time this video's out, and yeah, I can schedule it all out. And also in the link below, down below, when JS's new website is up, it will be in all my videos. So you can go there to be able to check out his rights, all the radionic machines there. And there's also some links down below so where you can get like the Pinnacle machine and a couple other wish boxes from Dr. Mulder. So everyone will be sure to check out all the links below. We'll be sure to come back with more information and send us all your questions. We want to be able to give you answers because everyone needs a radionics box like you need a refrigerator, in my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So hell yeah. Well, you guys, everyone, have an excellent night, and we'll catch you all later.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. Love you.
Sure.
Yeah.